Hey guys, how are you? I'm broadcasting live from Starbucks, a little bit different today, but that's okay. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. My reception wasn't that good in the car, so I figured I'd switch it up a little bit and try to broadcast from this cafe and see how that plays out. But overall, it was a good day, and I'm thankful for that. Thankful for another day. Make the most of each day, and that's all you can do in life. But I hope everyone out there had a good day. What I was thinking about today that I wanted to start the conversation on, was independence. Because I was thinking about Sophie. Hey, Sophie, how are you? I was praying for you today. I hope you're healing. I know it'll take some time to heal. When we fail in life, we go through challenges. Healing takes time, sometimes years. Often say, how long does it take to heal from a traumatic experience, whether it's a personal loss of a lover or a big amount of money? I would say 3 months to get your wind back under you, and 3 years to kind of like fully get back to the place where you were at before. Um, that's my experience in life. Remember the 3 and 3 rule. How long does it take to heal? 3 months to get your wind back under you, and 3 years to kind of like, get to a place, a better place than where you started. Things take time, but like I often say, what's the secret of life? The secret of life is pretty much, make the most of each day, and you try to put yesterday behind you. You try to focus all your energy on going forward, on not replaying memories, on not second guessing yourself, and on not letting yesterday steal today. That's a challenge. That's one of your biggest challenges in life. There's no doubt about that. Um, Keeping your mind centered and forward and not keeping it backwards, that's one of the biggest challenges in life. Most people, you look at movies and you look at, just think about movies. How many times have you seen in movies where the characters are haunted from memories of their past? They're haunted in their dreams from issues of the past. And, movies are written by humans. It's not just all made up, it's regular people writing them. And of course, they're exaggerated to make them entertainment. But since the beginning of the time, people struggle with keeping your mind away from the traumatic experience of your life. And no matter who you are in life, you experience trauma. Uh, Again, trauma can be something as severe as rape, something as severe as a death, or trauma can be as severe as a relationship failure, a career failure. Uh, Trauma can come in all different types of shapes and sizes. Trauma is a shock to the mind. Trauma is pain to the mind. Trauma is blunt force that hurts you, physical or mental. And life's but beyond all that, you got to remember, just breathe, you let go, and you just make the most of each day. When you get lost in lights, Dylan, what's up, Dylan? Hey, how's everything? Everything's going good. I'm kind of just sharing. I did my live feed originally from my car, but my reception wasn't good, so I just came out here. I'm in the front of a cafe. It's a little bit dark. I got good Wi-Fi here, so hopefully they make the video and the audio come in pretty clear. And I was going to talk about relationships and independence today, and I may talk about that because something spurred my mind. I wrote it down on my phone. I want to talk about that tonight, but I'm just going to free flow it a little bit in this live feed. We'll talk about a variety of topics. MTOF, what's up? MTOF, how are you, brother? Dylan, good to hear you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the encouragement. Look, it's not by accident in life that you keep the right people around you. It's going to take a conscious effort, because you're always going to be seduced in having more friends, more text messages, more options. Humans like a lot of options, but also a lot of options keep people from making decisions to go forward. Sarah, hey, Sarah, how are you? Appreciate that. Love and respect. Hey, I game in Canada's in the building. Love and respect to up north. Hey, Sam, video quality is better than usual. Yes, because I'm in that cafe Wi-Fi. And I figured give you guys a treat because you guys really hang in there with me, because I look at the replays and I said, man, that video quality sucked. Thank God the audio's been pretty good lately. But normally I go live from my phone and I just use my Sprint Unlimited plan. But when I have an opportunity, when there's not a lot of people outside in the cafe, I'll do this live feed. Which, I don't want to be outside in the cafe talk about I don't wear underwear and then like see people around, like, you know what I mean? Because I talk about pretty wild stuff. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Rob MC, hello from Toronto. Toronto, man. Love and respect to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I remember I was in a business dealing with a guy from Toronto, and he used to send me at Christmas time. He used to send me maple syrup, not maple syrup, but there's candy, like maple candy, hard candy, from, I believe it was from Toronto. He's definitely from Canada because I know and he would just always send me like these hard candies of Toronto or Canada syrup as like a hard candy. It's pretty cool, and I always appreciate. I thought that was a nice gesture of him. Sarah, Delaware here. Love and respect to Delaware, right south of New Jersey. Many times I've crossed that Delaware Bridge, which is a beautiful bridge. There's also a ferry at the end of New Jersey that will take you from Cape May, New Jersey, over into the Delaware beach area. And I know I haven't spent much time as far as staying there, but I've definitely been to Delaware numerous times, passed by it too many times to count. But love and respect to Delaware. So you're probably getting that cold weather too, even though I spoke to somebody in New Jersey today, so it was only like 50 degrees. So that's not too bad. Once you get below 50, it starts to get a little tough. Rob MC, most likely from Quebec. That's possible. I don't know what part of Canada, so I don't want to say, but that's possible. Ice Thesis, what's up, brother? That island looked magical up north in 20-degree weather. Yeah, well, look. I love and respect you, brother. Hope you're doing good, being more and doing well in school. There's nothing about it. Look, I was thinking about that today when I was getting ready to complain. Because human nature is we just tend to complain, and like I said, I still have to work. I still have to do different things I don't want to do, but I know I need to do. And so I said, Sam, you're in Florida. This is your dream, and you gotta be thankful. And you gotta be thankful you have a job, because there's been many times in my life where I didn't have a job. Well, not many, but enough to feel the pain, enough to feel the trauma. You want to feel trauma, have no income coming in. It's trauma. It's traumatic. And then you have to, just not good. And that's why, that was part of my reason I wanted to downsize too. I never wanted to be in a position where somebody just had too much leverage over me. Now, living a simple life, look, you still need money. You still have to pay for all your things. You still have to plan for retirement. But, it's less stress. Less stress. I can't tell you how many people I know, and they do well for themselves in life, and you could tell the stress is on them. They have a family, they have children, they have all the trappings, not necessarily trappings, but they have a lot of responsibility. And when I talk to them, I feel their pain, and I understand why a lot of people are stressed out in life. Not good. Sarah. Yeah, I've had wild times at the beaches. It was nice today. It felt like 60. Well, that ain't bad. That's actually great. Love and respect to Delaware. Rob MC. Most of the maple syrup comes from there. I didn't know that. Most of the maple syrup in Canada comes from Quebec. Well, that's an interesting comment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now I just learned something. Ice Thesis. I feel that people who get homesick should not live in their car. Well, that's most people, and I agree with you. Most people shouldn't live in their car. There's approximately 325 million people in the United States of America. I would say less than 1% of the population lives in their car. So that sounds about right to me. Most people, 99% probably of society in the United States of America live a conforming life. A conforming life means a house, an apartment, regular dwelling, and they should be. They have kids. Most people have kids. They have a family. Most people have a static job. Most people don't want to endure the conditions. That's why I've learned to mature and answer the question more. But that's why sometimes I used to get upset. Well, how do you stay hot? How do you stay cold? How do you stay cool in the summer and hot in the winter when you live in your car? You don't. I mean, you sacrifice. There's discomfort. There's pain. You're not in the house. You're not in a controlled climate. And that's why most people, that's why 99% of society won't look. It's not for the, it's not, this lifestyle is rare. You may see a couple people on YouTube, and so you think it's, it's common, and it's certainly possible. I think anyone can do it that wanted to do it, that was willing to sacrifice, that had realistic expectations. But I think there's two parts of it. I think one is Very few people ever do it, and then two is very, very few will sustain it as a lifestyle. So some people may try it, they may go car camping, they may take a summer off, but now going into my third year, I don't see most people probably only last 8 months. So that's what does make it unique, and that's why people are somewhat interested because it is a unique lifestyle. Um, for me, the simplicity attracted it to me, not to traveling, not like wandering around in my van, doing hippie stuff. That didn't attract me. What attracted me was the fact, like I said, I wanted to live a simplistic life. I had a condo with too much square footage. I was spending most of my life, most of my off time, taking care of a house that didn't inspire me. I knew, and then I knew I didn't want a family. And then I was living in a state that I knew I didn't want to live in long term. And it was just like I'm killing myself to stay somewhere to do stuff that I don't like to do. I don't want, and that's a life of resentment. And I started to feel very resentful the past few years of my house. And I said, I'm getting the hell out of here. And how do you get out of there? You got to take one step at a time. And the first step to downsizing is always sell. The first step to downsizing is always sell. It's never to acquire. So if you try to acquire a van and you still have your house, if you try to acquire a RV and you're still in your house, I think you're going backwards. That's my opinion. You should do whatever you want. It's only my opinion. Um, uh, Rob MC used to live paycheck to paycheck. That's 70 to 80% of society. Just broke out of that. Congratulations. You just made yourself the 20% or less of society. Good job, Sarah. Good job, Rob. Yep. Icesis. Have you added to your bag of belongings or subtracted on your journey? Subtracted. Subtracted most of my cold weather clothing. So subtracted. And what I realized is traveling up and down the east coast of America, just about every state on the coast, is that there's a Walmart everywhere. There's a Walmart everywhere. Even in remote areas, I mean, you usually within 45 minutes, if you really were out there, of a Walmart. So what do I really need? What I found is you don't need much. So yeah, definitely subtract. Rob, thanks, Sarah. Took a while, but got to keep the trend going. Yeah, like I said, life is always about doing something, and then life is about figuring out how you can sustain something. Because doing something sometimes could be easy, sustaining things can be hard, but doing things is always the first step. And you're going to have to refine it as you go. That's part of life. Life is you do something and then you refine it as you go to make it sustainable. And you'll figure it out if you want a way, and through God's grace throughout the journey. Big Bad Dawn. Now, wait a minute. My life is a nonconformist, off-the-grid place. Paid for, raised my own food. Wow, love my life. Happy you're happy. And I'm happy you're happy. Good job. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, there's different ways to live life, guys and girls. We all have our own fingerprint. What does that say? There's no one way that everyone can live life. Now, there is a way that the majority of people tend to live life, but there's certainly people on different spectrums of life, on the fringes, on the extremes, and there's some people that are in the middle. But the beautiful part, about America, about the different states, is there's different cultures and there's different physical, geographical details of each state, of each part of the state that, you can kind of, if you take the small steps of downsizing your life and repositioning your life and making sacrifices, you kind of live the type of life you want to live and make your life as happy as possible. Will your life be perfect? No, your life will never be perfect. But I believe through God's grace and through your action, that through small steps and through keep taking them, that you can make your life better as best it can be. Ice thesis. Would you lie to people when they ask where you live? It depends. Just like when I had a house, I didn't tell everyone where I lived and what was my house about. Most times it never comes up, unless I'm going to get into an intimate conversation. And even sometimes when I was in an intimate relationship, I lied because, that's very personal. How many people, even right now that live in a house, how many people right now want to share their address or want to share, their GPS coordinates? I mean, nobody does. So, a car is just a small version of a house. I mean, so it's, for most people, I don't get that intimate with. But I mean, I share it here. But I guess as time goes on, I care less. Because as time goes on, I mean, I've realized that, again, I do it very legally. I abide by the laws. I do my own things. Really, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just odd. But I definitely looked into that. I mean, look, one of the main reasons I did it was because I made sure I did the research that if you do it a certain way, it's legal and there's nothing to hide or be embarrassed about. But there's a taboo about it. You know what I mean? Just like there's a taboo about different things, different porn people watch. It's just life though. So everyone's different. Ice Jesus. Oh, I read that. Big Bad Dawn at Rob City. Great for you. Yep. Broke the cycle. Good job. Antonio. What's up, man? What's going on? Antonio likes Destin, Florida. He wants me to do a review on there, but I usually don't go up that northwest. That's northwest Florida. I usually don't go up northwest. That's by like the Panhandle. I'm more of a Caribbean guy, South Florida. Ice Jesus. Do you have a portable battery for your phone, and how often do you have to get a new one? I get a new phone about every year because I use my phone so much for work and for personal. And my phones, I put a lot of usage on them. So that's probably one of my biggest expense, but it's worth it because my phone is everything. My GPS, my entertainment, I use it a lot for business, use it for YouTube. So it's a huge part of my life. So about $1,000 a year pretty much allocated for a new phone. Big Bad Dawn, love you, brother. Well, I love you too. I appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank Dawn. Antonio, remember John Lennon said, depression happens when life passes you by. That's actually a great quote. Good job, Antonio. He says, John Lennon said, depression happens when life passes you by. I think that's a good quote. How did John Lennon die? I forgot. I don't think it was traumatic, though. But look, what's the answer of life? You often hear me ask myself that and pose that question. The answer of life is you make the most of each day. And you live with urgency, and you don't wait till your retirement age to live the life you want to live. Now, you don't quit your job and pack that stuff in the van and just think you're going to live off the land for most people. You're going to need to find some type of source of income that's sustainable. You're going to need to research. You're going to need to sacrifice. And then, you make your life better as best you can. And hopefully you get some breaks along the way because we all need breaks. Ice thesis. That background makes you look like you're in another space. I'm out in the galaxy, baby. This is the galaxy magical. It does look pretty wild, though. It does look like I'm a spaceman. The lighting isn't too good either. I don't feel like super sexy, but I really don't care. But I appreciate the different atmosphere, and I'm glad that you guys are finally getting a little bit of good video quality. Big Bad Dawn. Just be happy, friend. Heart emoji. Yeah, that's it. I mean, happiness comes with a level of freeing your mind, getting your mind off the traumatic. How do you do that? Well, you have to separate yourself from the traumatic. You're going to go through trauma. You got to separate yourself from the relationship, separate yourself from the gambling to a certain level. And then then you're going to say, well, my life is so boring now. Is life worth living if it's that boring? Now, that's a fair question. So you should take some risk, but you have to learn how to, it's a very delicate balance, but you're going to have to learn to balance some risk. And you're going to have to realize that risk can be rewarding, but many times very painful. And, you got to figure out how you can balance it so you can sustain a lifestyle. Ice thesis. I'm worried that my uncle will give me his Navy blanket. Oh, I had to throw out a couple of Army blankets. And my aunt will give me her stamp collection. Yep. Because they are too much of a coward to get rid of them. Yeah, no, I hear you. But, I know I say coward and stuff like that sometimes, like, as an animated thing and when I'm passionate. But look, most people, they just can't get rid of the things they own. They just don't have it in them. And when I had to throw away the things I own, I understand it. It's a huge mental burden to separate yourself from that which you've collected. There's something embedded in the human mind that when you go to throw out something, if it's perfectly good, you don't want to get rid of it. You either think that you're going to eventually need it, or you think that you can sell it, and it's like a magnet. But let me tell you something. There's always a Walmart, and most stuff you don't need. Most people, they only wear 20% of the clothes or less that they have in their closet. If you go look in your closet right now, 80% of it's all waste. Most people wear 3 to 4 outfits in a combination of what those 3 to 4 outfits are, and that's it. Because they're comfortable and they like them, and then once in a while they put on something fancy, but underneath that they still got dookie stain underwear. That's the reality of life. Dylan, dislike negative people that just complain about life and don't do anything about it to change it. Yep. Well, most people they don't like themselves either, and that's why they lash out, because they're upset about life and they're upset about where they're at, and it's understandable. They feel like they're drowning and they can't get out. So if you ever deal with someone who's drowning, they're not logical. What they try to do is, even if you go to save them, they'll pull you down under the water with them because they're just desperate. And when you're dealing with a very irrational, desperate person, even if you go to try to help them, you got to be very careful. They can easily pull you into the riptide. So, saving people and helping people is an art form, not a science. You got to be very careful. And he says, I knew some people get handed a shitty hand of cards. Sometimes I understand where they're coming from. Yeah, no, you got to have compassion, you got to have empathy, but ultimately, look, you got to just focus on you. Certainly, if you're an opportunity to help somebody and they want to help, God bless. But let me tell you something, it's not often. Othil Leisure, favorite hobbies, walking and listening to music. At this point in my life, it used to be sports, it used to be video games, it used to be going out, used to be, all different things, spending time with my dog. At this point in my life, where I'm at now, my hobbies are just include walking, being by the beach, listening to music, and I do enjoy YouTube. I mean, it's partly a hobby. I wish, long term it'd be a sustainable source of being able to live off of, but those are the things I enjoy. Icesis. I was watching some sort, excuse me one sec, guys. I was watching some sort of your snow videos. Yeah, those are pretty classic, man. And it's so clear how unhappy you were compared to you in Florida. Much happier. Yeah, yeah. Your environment can make you either come alive or make you miserable. Now, if you do look at the snow videos, when I spent 2 years in New Jersey living in my car, you always find a common theme that most of my videos I say I'm thankful. I think thankfulness is the beginning of a healthy mind, even when you're pissed. The other part is I wasn't, and that's why I made the sacrifices to get where I knew I needed to be. Just like certain animals, they only either survive or they only come alive in the environment that they're meant to be in. Same thing with humans. As you become an adult and you experience life, and hopefully you don't get trapped in just staying in your 45-mile radius of where you grew up. Hopefully you eventually, it took me time, but you eventually build up enough courage to venture out and to explore your state that you live in, then explore the surrounding states, and then just go further and further until you find what you're looking for. And for me, what I was looking for was the tropical climate of Florida. I kind of always felt it, but it took me a while to develop my confidence and develop my range of traveling, and then developing a plan. And like I said, what was the plan? Once I really had enough experience in life, what I realized is as you downsize, as you live a simpler life, you have more flexibility and you have more leverage. And when you're going to transition in life, when you're going to make a change, that's what you need. You need flexibility and you need leverage. I'm not trying to say you can't do it other ways. There's many ways to do the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is the easiest way, at least long term, initially it's hard because the hardest part about life is selling stuff. The hardest part about life is making a sacrifice and not seeing a payoff. So I sold my house. I threw away all the stuff I spent 15 years acquiring, and then for 2 years I just sat in I lived in a car just to get down here. So I didn't see a payoff, right? So not a lot of people want to hear that because I understand sometimes I'm the same way. I want instant gratification. So it's going to take steps, though. It's going to take a plan. It's going to take determination. It's going to take the grace of God. It's going to take all those things. And remember, above all else, you're going to need an income because everything costs money in this world. So don't get disillusioned that if you live cheap, you don't need an income. Big Bad Dawn. John Lennon was murdered by an assassin. Thank you. I knew it was something traumatic. Thank you. AJ, what's up, brother? Shout out to my brother AJ living full-time in his Toyota Prius down in Miami. Is it possible? Yes. He's down there trading stocks, doing his thing. AJ, love and respect, man. I wish I could live that life as far as long-term stock sustainability. It was my dream at one point, but then I just wasn't prepared to risk anymore. Maybe one day I'll try it again. And he says, I love from a 24-hour Walmart in Delray Beach. Well, love and respect to Delray Beach. I love the East Coast. That's my favorite area of Florida is the southeast area, and Delray Beach is in the southeast area. Why? It's just my personal preference. Some people love the southwest. Some people love the northwest. Some people love the southeast. Some people love Orlando. You have to visit the state. Florida is one of the biggest states as far as landmass, and different regions of the state have different feels, different cultures, different environments, different speeds, different energies. Right now, up in Jacksonville, up in St. Augustine, it's colder than it is in South Florida, and the energy is different. You got to visit the state, and like I did for 2 years, you got to travel, you got to explore, and you got to figure out what works for you. Ice thesis. Just watched the video of you in Naples, and I love Naples. The only spot really on the West Coast that I'm feeling so far is Naples. That's where I would spend most of my time. And that MILF that was all over, yes, he was only in a live feast, he wanted some. She knew she was trying to trap him while her husband was there. Yeah, look, hey, look, how else can you succeed in life? Marry a MILF that's got a good settlement. And just don't judge her. Let her eat chocolate and cheese, and just smile and say thank you. Big Bad Dawn. One life lesson, my dad. May he rest in peace, R.I.P., rest in heaven as well. Sentiment will cost you a fortune. That's interesting. Sentiment will cost you a fortune. Nothing comes to mind, Big Bag Dawn. What does that mean to you? That's an interesting comment. Thank you for sharing. Dylan, that throwing away topic is so spot on, bro. I understand. I've been there. Most people don't need all the stuff they buy. That's true. I've been there. You only need food, water, clothes, and medicine, technically. No, that's true. Well, you also need shelter. Let's say the survival of human nature needs water. Water is the number one thing you need. You can live weeks without food. Water is the number one thing you need to sustain life on a daily basis. Your body is made up of mostly water. So water, food, shelter as far as keeping you away from certain elements. If not, you'll catch a cold and your life expectancy will be cut down. So you need a certain amount of shelter. And your car's like a tent. It's a shelter, and you have to figure out how to rig it up. And that's what I did. But look, I also got very sick when I was in New Jersey last year during the winter. But like I say, I attribute that more to I was being lazy. When you get sick in the cold weather is when you go from your car to the store, from your work to the store. So the transition when you go from in an office building to another office building, or you go from your car to the grocery store, that in and out, and that you say, well, you know what, I'm just going to run the store. I don't need to wear my scarf and hat. I'm just running in and out. Because, you don't want to do it. You don't want to, that's why I moved down to Florida, because I don't want to have a lot of clothes on. It's just too constricting. It's too much work to put hat, scarf on. And you say, oh, that's lazy. It's too much work to put a hat and scarf on. All right, everyone who lives up north, I want to see you honestly evaluate yourself. How many times you don't want to put on your hat and scarf just to go outside to walk your dog? You don't. I've been there. And what I can tell you is that's why I moved to Florida. I want easy, simple, free, and just a tank top and shorts. Iced thesis. My friend loves horror movies. I know I had a good friend that liked horror movies, man. Messed up his mind, in my opinion, but he had other issues too. And games, and called people babies because he thinks they aren't scary. Well, God bless him. What I can tell you is I think Finding Nemo is scary. I cried at that. I cried at Bambi. I cried at Lion King. I'm not watching no damn scary movie. I watched Freddy Krueger when I was younger. I don't need to prove anything to anyone, especially some guy masturbating to horror movies. When he was super paranoid and ruining his mental health. Yeah, look, on average, what I think you do when you watch a horror movie is you commit trauma to your mind. What you do when you watch a rape movie is you commit trauma to your mind. Now, I'm not saying, what you do when you watch like an army movie, like the movie Sniper, which was basically about a guy who lied because he got caught in a lie, lying that he beat up Jesse Ventura in the army, in a bar, and he was sued, and his estate had to pay Jesse Ventura because he was a liar. The movie American Sniper, it was basically made from a guy's story who was a proven liar about other things. Now, whether he lied about all the other stuff, who knows? But it's military porn. And what I could tell you is when you watch murder, when you watch rape, or when you watch anything that's like horrific, I don't even watch like that. Like there's like some like violent porn and stuff like that. I don't watch any of that. It's disgusting. To me, it's an unhealthy mind. But everyone should do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anyone. If they're hurting somebody, I got a problem with it. Big Bad Dawn, 100%. Downsize, pure happiness. For me, I agree, and life still isn't perfect. That's why I say it's a disaster. Make the most of it. Andy G, what's up, brother? Hey, Sam. Hey, everyone. Andy G. Stole a movie to your brother. Big Bad Dawn. PCB, baby. What does that mean? Love and respect. Raphael, what's up, man? I like the name. Raphael is probably one of my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Well, I correct that. Donatello, the guy with the purple Donatello, that was my favorite. What do you eat on a daily basis? Bananas, health bars, salads with low sodium Goya beans, vegetarian meat. They have that in the grocery stores, and Skinny Pop. How many meals today? I eat about every 2 to 3 hours. I just have a banana and a health bar every 2 to 3 hours, and then at night at 5 o'clock I have my full salad with my Skinny Pop, and then I just had my another coffee, soy milk, and a banana and a health bar. So I'm at a sustaining weight now. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to gain weight. And that's where I've been. I let myself go. I got to 350 pounds. Then I was just eating raw fruits and vegetables. I got down to 150 pounds. And then kind of for a sustainable weight for the past 2 years, I've been floating around 210 and 220. And that's pretty much where I've been at for 2 years. And that's what I'm going to sustain for 6 foot tall for my body frame. I'm probably technically 25 pounds overweight, but I'm good. And so I'm just at a sustainable weight, and that's how I do it for me. Antonio, and I walk at least 5 miles a day. Antonio, I try to get up and walk every hour for about 5-10 minutes, keep that blood flowing. Antonio, how warm is it tonight? I don't have my I'm not in my car, but I think the temperature, I know it got up to like 80 degrees or so today, Fahrenheit. And then I think tonight it'll get down to about 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it's probably about 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Very nice night, beautiful night. Beautiful winter night in Florida. Isis. I have a whiteboard to keep a list of tasks I need to complete. It's very helpful. Yes. Excellent job. Write down the task, whether it's on a whiteboard, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your laptop, whether it's on a piece of pen and paper, and try to prioritize the task. Every day you should start your day with top 3 prioritized tasks. Prioritize mean you list in the order of things need to get accomplished. Because the number one thing you struggle with in the morning is an overwhelmed mind that doesn't know where to begin. The number one thing people struggle with in life is an overwhelmed mind. They don't know where to begin. When you have a prioritized list, your mind has a focus, it has a direction, and it can start at the first task. And when you complete a task, then you get encouragement. Then you complete another task, and then you get fired up. And then before you know it, you've made tremendous progress, and that's how you go forward in life. Good job. Antonio, you go swimming at all? Pool, beach? I don't do pools anymore. When I lived at the house I owned for 15 years, there was a community pool and jacuzzi. I went in just about every day in the summer. So now I go in the ocean. I haven't been in the ocean in the past month or so. I try to put my feet in daily. On the west coast of Florida, the ocean accessibility is not the same. On the east coast of Florida, you have more ocean accessibility. That's why I like the east coast better. So I've been on the west coast for the past couple of weeks. I've been in the ocean, but only my feet. I haven't fully submerged, and it hasn't been that hot every day. So in the summer, I'm definitely in the ocean every day, and when I'm on the east coast, more than on the west coast. Again, that's why I like the east coast Atlantic Ocean versus the Gulf of Mexico. It's just a better access, better atmosphere. Dylan, born and raised in WA, that's Washington State. Yep, I know that. I was talking to somebody from Washington State today. Shout out to WA. The Northwest, yes, I know it very well. Love and respect to the Northwest. Got a lot of jobs, too, up there, Northwest. A lot of IT jobs, believe it or not, Northwest. I believe, too, that's also the home of some Microsoft and some other big IT companies. Well, not the home, but they have a lot of presence up there. Ice Thesis. I love biking and walking in Baltimore. Shout out to be more. But putting on a big-ass coat and gloves, disaster, all caps. Totally agree. Somebody give me the gloves, hat, and then the explosion emoji. Why the explosion emoji? Because it's a disaster to put on all that stuff, but I did it for many years. Young Buck Boss. What's up, man? In my car right now. Well, love and respect you, brother. Keep doing your thing. Stay positive. Don't hurt anyone. Just keep doing you. And as long as you're positive and you ain't hurt no one else, it's no one's business what you do. You're living your life and you're being a positive person. Big Bad Dawn. It means you should hold on to stuff. Okay, this was the quote you were trying to explain. Thank you. And that quote again was, what was that quote? Let me go back and read it because I want to make sure that we learn something here. The quote was, sentiment will cost you a fortune. Okay, so now let's read the breakdown of Big Bad Dawn. He says, it means you hold on to stuff from family because you can sell it and make money now. But quotation marks, but daddy had it. So you keep it and then it's worthless. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Look, I mean, I understand that. And I think that's wisdom for a minute. I mean, look, if you really want to leave something to your children, just leave them cash equity value. But at the same time, I can understand why some people leave hard assets. And sometimes hard assets are better because sometimes if everything was liquid, some people would just cash everything in and spend it reckless. So all I can say is based on what you can control, keep it simple, guys. When you're really confused in life, this is what I can tell you that will guide you. Keep it simple and less is more. It's not a big philosophy. It's not, believe me, I've read the Bible front and back. I've read many different books that have nothing to do with religion. I've read many different religion books. And what I can tell you is the bottom line is the bottom line is keep it simple, less is more, and as long as what you're doing is not hurting anyone, you're pretty much fulfilling the gospel, however you determine the gospel. And there's not much more to life. And so after you've done those core basic things, you're not hurting anyone, you don't get trapped into materialism, and you realize that everything in life requires some work and some sacrifice. After you realize those core things, then what do you do in life? You do you. And you figure out what makes you the happiest, and then you stick to that because that's what life is, making the most of each day and trying to keep yourself in a good space. Young Buck Boss, are you drunk? No, I'm not. Big Bad Dawn, you don't have to hold on to stuff because a family member had it. Well, I totally agree with that. I definitely went through there, and sometimes they can try to guilt trip you. Gotta be careful. Guilt trip is manipulation, a sarcastic mark manipulation. What some people do is they do what they call emotional baiting. So they'll either ask you something or they'll give you some type of comment. They want to emotionally bait you into either getting upset or some type of reaction. That's a manipulator. That's an unhealthy mind. I kind of talked about that the other night. Anytime you see an emotional baiter, They're a manipulator. They have low character, and maybe it's because they were abused as a child. Maybe it's because they have unhealthy relationships, but they have no right to put that on you. Big Bad Dawn. PCB means Panamana, excuse me, Panamana City Beach. Love and respect. ISIS. People will put on a show to act like they wanted that army blanket just because the game, it gets inheritance. Now look, inheritance is a game. Everything in life is a little bit of game, and that's why look, when you live a simple life, when you live below your means, you can pick and choose how many games you want to play. You always get to play some game. Life is a little bit of a game. I'm not going to be disingenuous, but the more you live on your terms, the more you live below your means, the more you have authority over what you want to play and what you don't. Big Bad Dawn, you look great. Well, I appreciate that compliment, man. Love and respect. Thank you. I appreciate any compliment, and that means a lot to me. Antonio, do you have a vice? Any fears, afraid of? Yeah, all people have vices. At one time it was cigarettes. I stopped cigarettes. I never had any issue with drugs, but cigarettes are a drug, tobacco. At one time it was food. By the grace of God, I was able to get that. But one time, I don't want to say gambling, but stock market. I really wanted to try to build a sustainable career off stocks. I couldn't do it. I still feel like I can, but I'm not willing to risk anymore. Those are the things that come to my mind as a vice. I mean, as far as like any other vices, I'm still human, so I'm still subject to be broken by anything. Now, I never think I'm strong because I've been broken in life. I never think I'm strong enough where I can't be broken. So I try to remember that. But I'm not going to walk around timid. So I try to balance that. I'm not going to walk around, fears. The only fear I have is I don't want to suffer, because I felt physical and emotional pain, and I don't. And if anyone feels that long enough, that's suffering. And no one, I don't care how tough they are, no one wants to suffer for a long period of time. That's what broke Job. So I just don't want to suffer in agony for a long period of time. And that kind of, I think, is the most honest, direct answer I can give you. ISIS. Are you going to see your mom for Christmas or enjoy it in Florida? I think I'm going to stay in Florida. I talk to my mom every day. I saw her a month ago. I'm not sure. I'm still leaving my mind open. I did reserve some campgrounds for the next couple weeks and months, because in Florida during the winter you got to be careful because the campgrounds get booked up quick. So I had a couple. I could always cancel them. When you cancel a campground, on average you're going to waste about $25 because they charge you like some fees when you cancel. So but that's what I have in my favor. What do I have in my favor? My flexibility. So I can cancel a campground, I can go see my mom, or I can keep it. And so living light, living mobile, is I have flexibility. So what I do is I like the option that next week if I want to change my mind, or tomorrow if I want to change my mind, if I want to leave, I leave. And that's what I like. There's something about my mind that I don't like commitment. I don't like commitment in relationships. I don't like commitment. Any long-term commitment is kind of like, it's too taxing on me. And I like maximum freedom. And so, good question. Ice thesis. I read that. Ice thesis. Let me have a drink of magical Trenta ice water. Guys, if you like this video, please click the thumbs up. Share it. Thank you. Ice thesis. What do you think of ugly sweater contests in the family? Probably about a year or so ago, it was a total disaster. It is a disaster. But I also want to be fair. Whatever makes people happy in life. Because, depending on what night you catch me, I may black out on something like that. But as I get more mature, I realize, how hard life is. So if wearing an ugly sweater night makes people happy and it brings them some joy in life, who am I to steal that joy from them? You know what I'm saying? So they're not hurting anyone by wearing an ugly sweater and making a big deal of it. But what do I think of it? I don't even wear underwear. You think I'm going to wear an ugly sweater? Not even going to happen. Good question, though. Tom, are you in outer space? Yeah, this is live from outer space. I should have named that time. Shout out to Boone. And then he gave hashtag Sam goes to the moon. Yes, that's very magical. I'm close to the equator, so I don't know what that means, but I guess I am closer to the moon than most people. Marin, shout out to Marin. 3 palm trees, 3 tidal waves, 3 hearts, and 3 more palm trees. Good job, Marin. And a dog emoji, and a smile, and a heart back to you, and a peace sign. Big Bad Dong at Young Buck Boss. He doesn't drink. Amen. Not anymore. I used to when I was younger. I never had a problem with it, but I started drinking when I was 11, just under peer pressure. I was never a big drinker. Smoking probably was the biggest vice. What's the top three things that cause preventable deaths? Number one is tobacco. Tobacco is more deadly than heroin, crack, and everything combined. More deadly than gun violence. Tobacco. Tobacco is still the number one cause of preventable deaths in America. What's the number two? Alcohol. What's the number three? Obesity-related diseases. So if you could stop smoking, if you could stop drinking, and if you could stop eating unhealthy food, you've beaten the top three causes of preventable deaths. Uh, is there anything left to have fun? Yeah, you can still watch free porn and wear no underwear. That's pretty fun. Marin, your honesty is powerful. Well, I appreciate that. Love and respect to you, Marin. Sometimes, look, when you're really hurt, you can't be honest. I couldn't. There's sometimes when I'm really hurt and I really go through a traumatic experience, I'm just not ready to share. So you're not always going to be ready to be honest. As long as you're not like maliciously lying. Sometimes if you're too hurt and you don't want to share, you don't have to. Just remember that too. Sometimes you just need to heal. Big bad dog, bingo. Sentiment will cost you a fortune. Land is a hard asset. You get it? Nope, I get it. I also say in fairness that if my grandfather didn't leave my mother land as an inheritance, I would have been in poverty most of my childhood. So, and it was a good thing that it was land and not just like cash value, because it could have got squandered. There's give and take, but your certainly point is well noted. I tend to agree. CC, peace and love. I like that name. Hey, Nomad. Hey, if you got a name named Peace and Love, you can't be too much of a prick. I love you, Marin. My husband tried to make a living doing stocks for a couple years. I supported him. Eventually, he got the message. Yep, it's tough. It's gambling. It is. Everything in life is a little bit of gamble, though. That's what I learned. But it's a high risk. Gambling in this is not the best idea. No, it's very mentally painful when you lose. When you're winning, it feels like you're printing money. But you can lose everything in a matter of time. The market decided before the opening bell. Yeah, I mean, you can trade futures. You can trade after hours. You can trade index funds. Most people, you can trade individual stocks. You can trade options. There's so many different ways to play the market. It's all a level of just high risk. You can call it gambling. Some people bounce forward. Some people go to the casino. But of course, certainly if you have a margin account and if you leverage, then it can really get dangerous. But some people, there's a small percentage that are able to do it. So again, I'm not knocking it, and I'm not saying I would never do it. But for me, I just got to a point where I'm like, look, I'm working hard. I got a good job. You don't want to work hard, build a career and then not save, because then that's trauma. Now, but I know some people that did that, and there's no disrespect to them. I remember there was a person in my community. Again, I owned a condo for 15 years, and it was like a gated condominium complex. It was above average. I wouldn't say like grand luxury, but it was somewhat of a luxury community, but not grand. I mean, just upper middle class, I would say. And there was a couple in there, older couple that was renting, and their mother. It was an old couple. They were retired, and her mother was still alive. Her mother was like 90. They were retired in their early 60s, and the mother, who at that time lived in Florida, the daughter of the mother who lived in Florida, she was like 62. The daughter said to me, Sam, my mom's going to come up to live with us. I said, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, it's just more affordable for all of us to be able to live. And she goes, to be honest with you, Sam, we would have been in better shape, but we lost some money in the stock market. This was like, she was telling me this in 2010. This is like 2 years after like the economy really collapsed in America. And she goes, I don't know what they lost, $100,000 or more, something like that. And for them that was their nest egg. For some people, it's not a lot of money. For some people, it's a huge amount of money. All depends. But she goes, bottom line is, they lost about $100,000 in the stock market, and that messed up their retirement plans. So now they have to rent, and now their mother has to come live with them. And I said, well, did the stock market, and at that time we had started to recover a little bit. In 2008, we bombed out. 2010, we started to come back. And I go, well, if you would have not sold your stock and we've kept it, would you have made it right? And like, she was very honest. She goes, yeah. She goes, we would have been back to zero. She goes, but when you're down 30, 40%, she goes, we couldn't afford to watch it go down anymore, so we just took it out. And that's what happens. The stock market right now is at an all-time high. But I'm telling you right now, if the stock market went down for 2 years in a row, everybody and their mother would take it out, because you can endure pain, you can't endure suffering. And if everyone has their breaking point, and that's what happens. Look, if the economy overinflates too much, the system is designed so that you burst a bubble. You burst a bubble so that everybody isn't paperly rich, because if everyone's paperly rich, no one's rich. And so the system is almost designed like, if things are going too well, you want to burst a bubble because you don't want too much inflation. But then it's also designed that if no one has money to spend, rich people can't pay their taxes. So the system is a thin balance, but there's become over time an imbalance, meaning that 1% of society owns 40% of the wealth. The middle class has shrunken, statistically proven, under all different types of presidents, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. Previous generations had it easier. Housing was cheaper. They had pensions. They had annuities. They had job stability. In today's society, you change jobs, you change companies every 45 years. There's no pensions. There's 401ks. I was talking to someone today that they're looking to change jobs, but when they change jobs, they're going to have to pay the penalty because they took out everything of their 401k. So when you have a pension, you can't cash that out. Now, that could be a good or bad thing. When you have a 401k, you can cash it all out. You just got to pay a penalty. But the downside is you can have nothing when you retire. And then you can depend on Social Security. What's the average Social Security? About $1,200. So you think you're going to be able to live on $1,200? No. And at 65, 75, do you think you're going to be able to go out into the marketplace and earn another high income? No, you're not employable. You're not employable to a certain level. I mean, people look at you different. So you have to be mindful of all these different things. CC, peace and love. Thank you, Marion. So no girlfriend? No girlfriend. Don't want a girlfriend. When you have a relationship, you sacrifice your independence. I learned that. I had girlfriends. I'm very thankful for them. Having women in my life was a blessing. I've been blessed to date some. I love women. I respect women. I think that you should be in relationships at certain times in your life, but I think you can't have your independence and a relationship. You sacrifice. And in the beginning, it's nice. Then it's misery. And then there's moments of niceness. And then you wake up old and resentful and you just have to wait on other people. You have to serve other people. I don't want to do that. But that's not for me. Some people do better in a relationship. They wouldn't be good single. If they were single too long, they would drink themselves to death or they would be miserable. I'm happy being single. It's just me, my personality. And I thank God I didn't have children young because I realize that now I would be very resentful. But I definitely wanted to do a video. I was going to do that video titled this, but it kind of just went to a free flow because I'm on the moon. I'm broadcasting live from the moon with good Wi-Fi. Is that anytime you get in a relationship, what you're signing up for is a sacrifice of your independence. If you like your independence, you can't be in a relationship. There's a scripture that says men and women married together cannot be independent. The man gives away some of himself to the woman, and the woman gives away some of herself to the man. Michelle Obama was just on a show the other day, and she was answering the question, can women have it all? And she goes, no, that shit's a lie. And she cursed, and the audience laughed because the first time they heard her curse in a while, because now she don't care because she's not in the office. And she said, no, you can't have it all. If you're going to get married, you're going to sacrifice some shit. And that's real talk. You're not. If you're going to get married, you're not going to have it all. You're not going to have kids. You're not going to have a full career. You can do all those things, but you're going to pay a price. Even if you're able to do them all, the price is going to pay. You're going to go through stress. You're going to go through anxiety, and there's going to be a price to pay. You could do them, but there's a price to pay. You can't have everything and no price to pay. So do I want to pay the price of a relationship? No, I don't. I've paid the price, and it ain't worth it for me. For some people, it's worth it. I don't want kids. I don't enjoy traveling with other people. They're a burden on me. I don't enjoy going out to dinner with people I used to. It's a burden to me. I don't enjoy waiting on someone else. I enjoy the fact that a virtual relationship, I can end this live feed right now and just go walk for an hour and I don't have to answer to anyone. I could spend a certain amount of food. I don't have to answer to anyone. I can move states. I don't have to answer to anyone. You know why people don't move different states? They got wives, they got children, they got relationships. They can't just get up and move. Most people stay in the same place for most of their lives because their relationships are attaching. I like to live a detached life, and it's not sad. I'm happier than most people I meet. Most people I meet are very depressed and miserable, and they put up a facade. I'm very honest. I share that I'm not always happy, but for the most part, I'm very happy, and for the most part, I'm very much at peace. I sleep 6 to 8 hours per night. And so that's why. But again, that's just me. I'm not saying everyone should be me. I'm just sharing me. Thank you. Big Bad Dawn. And Ice Thesis, don't ever think it. Yeah. Andy G, thumbs up. Yes. Thank you for everyone who gives the effort to click the thumbs up video. And thank you, Andy G. Peace and love. Laughing. Good. It's good to laugh because what do you have in this world? Laughter helps. Ice Thesis. Good night, Sammy. Good night. I have some work to do. Good job. After that falling asleep to your videos. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your support, Ice Thesis. Your support and your love does not go unnoticed. I appreciate all positive people, and I don't want positive people in my life to feel neglected because I've made that mistake in the past where you neglect the positive people and you put a lot of attention to the people that you want to like you. For the people that don't like me, I don't give a fuck. Kick rocks. For the people that are positive, even if they're not perfect, if they're positive and they respect me, I want to show them attention and I want to show them respect. Thank you, Tom. What did you do today? I worked from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then I had dinner. Then I walked for about an hour and a half. I spoke to my mom, and now I'm live on YouTube. And in about an hour, I'll be sleeping. Oh no, it was about eight, about an hour, 2 hours. I'll be sleeping. Get 8 hours. I'll do the same thing tomorrow. What'd you do, Tom? I'm working on practicing for a few interviews and studying for finals. Tom, good job, brother. Stay away from watching those cats. World citizen. Number 3 deaths in America is medical malpractice errors. Yeah, it all depends on the studies that you look at. It's just like anything else, right? You can look at a million different studies. Some people have this rated that. But you really can't prevent medical malpractice. So that's why it wouldn't be considered a preventable cause as far as what's in your control. Now, you can say it's a preventable because it's within someone else's control, but it's not within your control, right? So you can't control if you go to the hospital and someone gives you medical malpractice. Other than sue them, you have no control over that. So what you can control is will you smoke cigarettes, will you drink, and will you eat unhealthy food? That's under your control. Medical malpractice ain't under your control. You go in there for penis enlargement, and next thing you know, you got no penis. You can't control that. That's an error. That's malpractice. Big Bad Dawn. See, you get it? It helped y'all. Good job. Praise the Lord. Tom, did you see that an ISIS leader was killed by a U.S. drone? No, they've been doing that for a while. But technology has stopped a lot of casualties in war. The Afghanistan was actually the longest United States military operation in history. And in Vietnam, which was another war, and there's not senselessness. Vietnam, I think America lost 500. Oh, no, America lost about 50,000 soldiers, people. I think in Afghanistan, I think we lost about 10,000. So we lost, less than a third in Afghanistan, even though it was the longest war. Why? Technology, drones, Air Force. All those things prevent hand-to-hand combat to a certain degree. But, that's just partly of it. Big Bad Dawn. I'm sorry, I'm the grandmother of 7. Rode my bike in 38 of 50 states. Oh, there you go. Single mom of 3. All right. I love life, and times get hard. That's right. But life's short. It's true. Sometimes it could feel long, but you're right in one sense. I agree with you. Live it, all caps, your way. Totally agree with that. We do. Big Bad Dawn, great comment. Love to you. Thank you for sharing your journey. There's different ways to do this life, guys, not just mine. So thank you, Dawn. Marin, I didn't bear children either. I'm not mad at that. Very happy about that. Heart emoji, yep. And love and respect to those who did and who love it. Again, I don't want to shame someone else from doing them. If you're not hurting anyone, do you? Big Bad Dawn. I love to see happy people. Me too. And I love to see hot people. Good job. Big Bad Dawn. Hearts, life, hearts. Good job. Antonio, what is your nationality? 100% Italian. And do you meet any of your YouTube subscribers in person or seen them or anybody knows you? A couple times people have noticed me from afar, but I never done any meet and greets. I really don't. Like, even if somebody sees me in the street, I pray that you really don't come up to me. Why? It's not because I think highly of everyone, but I just like to be by myself. I know people that I grew up with that have been to a lot of stuff that are in Florida. I don't even see them. So I certainly don't want to see a stranger. It's not because I don't love or respect them. I'm trying to share who I am. Who I am is I like to spend most of my time by myself. So, like, if I saw you and if somebody came up to me and it was love, it would be love back. It would be a little hesitation because that's how I am. But I just like to be by myself. That's how I am. Big Bad Dawn. Your heart is so big. Well, thank you. And I'm still human. I still fail. Thank you. And the heart is corrupt of all things. But I appreciate the sentiment and love back to you, Sophie. I'm listening, just not always talking. Well, I appreciate you writing the comment. And just let me know you're listening. I appreciate everyone who takes the time, effort, and courage to write a comment because it matters to me, and I appreciate the encouragement. I take encouragement where I can get it. I don't assume it, and I'm thankful for it. Aaron L., you look like you're in space. I'm broadcasting live from the moon, and they even got a Starbucks on the moon. Very magical. Thank you. Good job. Tinkerbell. That's nice. Did you have a chance to look at hoovering yet? Thank you, Tinker. I didn't, but I don't know if it was you or there was another viewer who left a message on the replay video, and I read it. And it did describe hoovering, which basically is like psychological warfare, basically just to keep people down. It's a form of manipulation one way or another. I mean, I'm paraphrasing and simplifying it, but hoovering and emotional baiting is all wrapped into manipulation. It's psychological warfare. And I don't need people like that in my life. I don't treat people like that, and I don't want that. And so my life's not up for debate, and I'm not trying to debate anyone else. That's why sometimes like people come in here and they say, "Well, why'd you block me or why'd you do this?" I'm not trying to hurt you. I don't want to convince you to be me, and I don't want to be changed. You know, so you go do you, I'll do me. But if you want to still be part of it, that's fine. Just don't try to change me. Coach 9500. Sam, would you consider getting some type of van in the near future, or minivan, cargo van, or camper van? Not in the near future. Definitely, definitely. And let's see, this is interesting because I got my laptop up too because I'm in a cafe, so I have to approve a comment because I see one was flagged. Not a van in the near future. I can see in the distant. I'm not in further away down the road as I get older. I'm 38 right now. Right now, if I had to give my guess, the next car is going to be a Toyota Prius because I travel so much. It just makes sense to be more efficient. And then a Ford Transit cargo van. And then when I'm older, maybe an RV to have all the hookups. That can change tomorrow. But right now, I would hope to have my right now, I would hope to have right now, I would hope to have my Jeep for another 5 years, and after that, probably Toyota Prius, probably a Transit Connect. But that's it. I mean, you know, again, plans can change, but that's how I feel now because I'm not pressed for room. Like I don't. I spend most of my day outside. I spend most of my day in Starbucks. You know, the only time I spend really in my car is to take a break or to sleep. So like, you know, right now, when I wake up in the morning, I'm at Starbucks. I got to be somewhere where there's Wi-Fi to work. I work. You know, I get up. I take breaks. And then after work, I like to go outside. I like to walk. Like to be on the beach. And then after that, you know, I like to broadcast live, whether it's from my car or from here. Then I go for one more walk and then I sleep. So most of my time is not in my car. Some people, I've seen many people out here with cars or vans, but I'm not older. I'm 38, so it just doesn't make sense yet. And I see too, and we just go from there. I know Aaron also too asked about oh, hold on, Jared. Love you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Good to see you, Jared. Tinker and laughing good. Tinker, it was me. I'm not. Oh, Tinker. Yeah, see, I knew somebody left a comment about hovering, and it was you. I appreciate you had some knowledge on the subject. So you obviously been through a relationship. Sounds like you've been in some. We're at the moon, guys. We're on the moon. Hold on, we're on the moon. All right, my phone just fell. But you obviously been through some things. Sound like you've been through some counseling and you got it. But at the end of the day, look, if just people don't vibe with you, just cut them off. That's what hovering means. Hovering means, look, just cut them out of your life. Don't even. If you have to look up what hovering means, you're in an unhealthy relationship. Get the hell out of there. I looked it up. Hovering, low vibe. Move on. Marin, 100 emoji. You did a great job, Gerald. Tinkerbell, you said hovering. Can I find info on YouTube? Yeah, look up disastrous relationships and it should come up. Marin, I just Googled hoovering. Total disaster. Kinker. Yeah, it's mainly to help those who are being abused. Well, yeah, I hate to see that. It helped me because sometimes when I was in abuse, well, love and respect, I don't wish that on anyone, I didn't know it was abuse. Well, that's a good point, and I appreciate you sharing. And now that I have more knowledge, I am more mentally strong. Tinkerbell, great comment and love to you. Tinkerbell, yes, you can, Gerald. All right, fair enough. That's good. Gerald, okay, thanks. Jimmy, hey, Sammy. Jimmy, what's up, man? Gerald, laughing. Good. What happened? I went to the moon for a minute. We're back. John, how in the heck did you survive the summer humidity? Easier than the winters of New Jersey. I had a fan blowing on my butt and I sweated, but I'd rather sacrifice like that than to sacrifice the cold winters in New Jersey. So, look, this lifestyle is sacrifice. But next summer, what I may do is I stay at campgrounds that have electrical hookups for RVs. I may just get a small AC, vent it out my window, and hook it up to a 120 extension cord, run into the power outlet for the RV. I may do that. We'll see. I'll do a video on if I do it. Antonio, is Starbucks your favorite coffee? Yep. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts. What do you get? The strong blend. I don't get the strong blend. Strong blend is the dark roast. I get the medium roast Pike with no sugar, cold soy milk on the side. Any other coffees you enjoy? Nope. Juan Valdez, Dunkin', etc. Nope. I would like Cuban coffee. I still haven't tried that yet. When I get back to Southeast, where there's a heavier Cuban culture, because obviously close to Cuba. Shout out to my guy Milano. I'm probably gonna have some Cuban coffee. There's a lot of sugar in it. I mean, that's what makes Cuban coffee good, sugar. But a couple Puerto Rican friends I had, it's very similar to Cuban coffee, Bosueto, or whatever the yellow and red can from the supermarket, Bosueto. They would make that with some sugar and some. They would heat the milk up. Very magical. But you know that sugar puts a hurting on you eventually. And my health bar's got enough sugar in them. Marin, love for Tinkerbell. Yeah, Tinkerbell, good comments. Tinkerbell, love back, good. That's what I like to hear. Let me take a drink. Big Dirty Logistics. What's up, brother Sammy? How the hell are you, brother? I'm broadcasting live from the moon. You missed a lot. I sold the Jeep and now I'm in outer space, man. I'm broadcasting live from the moon. A lot of milfs up here in the moon, man. You got to get off the couch, man. You got to come out and see me, visit me in the moon. How you been, man? How's your back? How's your health? Good to see you, brother. Love and respect. Take it about laughing goods. Good to laugh. Believe me, it's a disaster out there. Total disaster. Most people who just watch me, they don't say anything. Why? Because it's a disaster. They don't want me to. They don't want to know that they're watching. They're embarrassed when I even say this. Let me get the hell out of here. I think Sam saw me. I ain't see you. Look, I can't tell who's in the chat room, so don't worry. Just do you. But that being said, like somebody that love and respect. But that being said, Tinkerbell, come join me in Neverland. Yeah, right. Never gonna happen. Me going to the Neverlands, never gonna happen. Why? That sounds too cold, man. I'm never leaving Florida. The only time I'm gonna leave Florida is to visit my mom. If God forbid, I pray I pray my job lasts forever. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be a pool boy for some hot milf, and that's got a settlement that wants to pay me $100,000 to take her a pool. I'll do it. Big Bad Dawn. Humidity, air you wear. Yeah, I like it humid. I like it hot. I don't like it cold and non-humidity. That's why I didn't go to California. That's why I don't go to Arizona. I don't like low humidity. I like high humidity. I like to sweat, guys. It's 80 and sunny with no humidity. That doesn't sound attractive to me. I'm wearing a jacket. Yeah, this is a disaster. Southeast, baby. Well, in the winter, I like it. In the summer, I just like Florida. I like it hot. Now, it's cooler. It's nicer to sleep when it's cooler with low humidity. But there's trade-offs. Marin, broadcast live from the moon. Good moon emojis. Good job, Andy G. Have a great night, man. Andy G, peace to your mind and love to you, brother. I want you to go forward, and I'm proud of you. Big Dirty, doing okay. Good, brother. Me and my team, driver, taking February off, going to Arizona. God bless you. Some R&R and camping. You're going to see Bob Wells on the low. I'm not mad at you, brother. You know I got love for you. And I want you to be happy. And I want you to do whatever you want to do, even if it's go see Bob Wells and at the RTR. Am I mad at you? No, I ain't mad at no one, man. People are positive and they ain't hurt no one. I'm not mad at them. I'm really not. But what am I going to do? I'm going to end the conversation. Why? Because you should never stretch it out unless someone comes in hot with one more comment. Aaron, Sam, what are your thoughts on psychedelics? It's just a mind fucking of life. What's life about? Make the most of each day. Keep life simple. Psychedelics and all other crap. Oh no, have I experienced them like taking mushrooms and all that stuff? No, I never did any of that stuff. I never got into it. My sister struggled with heroin, and I know different people that are strung out on drugs. I never did anything stronger than alcohol and weed. And even that, I was never strung out on any of that stuff. Cigarettes was the worst drug I did. But I've quit all that. And I never did any mushrooms or like trips. And I never got into that. Like I said, I cry finding, I used to cry watching Finding Nemo. To me, smoking weed just made you paranoid and lazy. I had no desire to do any other drug. Marin, when you're sleeping, do you open the sunroof for fresh air? Once in a while I do, but I tend not to because most of the time I'm at campgrounds. And even in the winter, there's some insects. So I kind of like, once in a while I do, but not often. Big Dirty, laughing out loud, good. No way in hell I'm seeing Bob Wells. Well, I'm going to be mad at you if he was, but I ain't mad at you if you're not. Big Dirty, what did you ever decide on the home base? I didn't get it. Sometimes I regret it, brother. Sometimes I think I should have got it for that price. The property sold. I got mixed emotions. There's some nights I really beat myself up, brother, to be honest with you. There's a $25,000 RV lot that... but some nights I say, Sam, you know what? It's better off that you don't have that. I'm experiencing different things. I still have my flexibility. So I don't know if I made the right or wrong decision, but either way, I decided not to go forward it, and somebody else bought it. Big Dawn. You're on the moon. Yep, I'm getting my telescope. Good job. Good job. Just don't look too far up. Why? Because I don't have underwear on. All right? On that note, let's end it. Why? Because you should never stretch out a conversation. Why? Because then the conversation goes to a bad place. If you try to stretch out the conversation, someone's tired, hungry, or over-emotional, guess what's going to happen? Argument. Guess what's going to happen next? Disaster. Guess what's going to happen next? You guys are fighting and arguing. Then guess what's going to happen? You're going to come on a live feed and say, Sam, can I join you down in Florida in your Renegade because I'm having an argument with my significant other? And I said, no, I don't want to see anyone. Why? Because that's how I am. Go see Bob Wells. And then you go see Bob Wells, and Bob Wells hypnotizes you. They used to buy a van and used to live in the desert, and then you go live in the desert, and then Big Dirty Logistic comes in with his 18-wheeler, and he's kicking up diesel fume, and, you're tired of Bob Wells hitting on you, and then, your whole life's a disaster, and all that could have been avoided by what? You just ending the conversation saying, have a great night. So on Marin's note, have a great night. Love and respect.